I often get questioned why I raise my hitting arm in front of me on my hitting side instead of bringing it far back like this. The truth is, whether you bring your racket too far from your body at the beginning of your swing like Roger Federer, or you raise your racket on your hitting side like Novak Djokovic or Jannik Sinner, this choice is more about style than fundamental technique. What crucial is creating a 90-degree angle at your elbow, and your racket should be on your hitting side before the acceleration phase. You should avoid this position when your racket, your hitting hand, is too far from your tossing arm, and you should avoid this position when your racket starts dropping too early before you are going into your cartwheel motion. This position with a 90-degree angle at your elbow and your racket somewhere in this position on your hitting side before you accelerate the racket is the fundamental of the serve. Many players try to imitate Federer's backswing, pulling their racket far at the beginning of their motion. That can lead to these mistakes. When their racket is too far from the tossing arm and they start to accelerate the racket when the racket is in this position instead of over here. This style works for Roger Federer. He starts far from his body, but then he is able to get into this perfect trophy position. His trophy position is the role model. Let's take a look at Djokovic's serve evolution. Back then he brought his racket too far at the beginning of his motion. Later on he changed his motion to raise the racket from the hitting side, and I think his serve now is much better. You can see the same hitting side style in other top players. So from my experience, this hitting side style is easier to get into the correct trophy position. Also, this style helps me time my acceleration phase. Timing of the acceleration is so important. The racket should be somewhere here in this position when I go into my cartwheel motion. So I raise my racket from my hitting side, and as soon as I get into my trophy position, I accelerate my racket. Also, I put my elbow right away in this position when it should be in my trophy position, and I create this 90-degree angle early in my motion, and I keep this position until I get into my trophy position. I use this leg style and I go from slow to fast. I raise my racket from my hitting side, slow, and again, as soon as I get my trophy position, and fire my serve. I suggest my students use this hit inside style. The serve is a complex motion, and my suggestion is to keep it simple. Don't complicate your serve. Stick to the fundamentals and keep it simple. You can do it.